Sanjay, I want to come into the law of suspension. And I want to give our viewers before this a sense of the history of this, Sanjay. Let's look at suspension of MPs over the years because it is fascinating when you look at it. The first person to be suspended was a Congress leader. Godi Murarji was suspended in September 1962 when Jawaharlal Nehru was Prime Minister. He was the first prominent suspension to take place. Then Raj Narayan, the famous giant killer who defeated Indira Gandhi in the 1977 elections, was suspended 4 times between 66 and 74 for taking on Indira Gandhi's government. The biggest mass suspension, interestingly, took place when the Congress was in power in 1989. 63 Lok Sabha MPs were suspended. They were protesting over the Thakkar panel report on Indira Gandhi's assassination. In 2010, 7 Rajya Sabha MPs were suspended. They had heckled Vice President Hamid Ansari, who was in the chair. The MPs also tore the women's quota bill that was tabled at that time. 18 Lok Sabha MPs were suspended in 2014. They were protesting over the Telangana statehood issue. Meera Kumar was the speaker then. In 2019, a Lok Sabha speaker suspended 45 MPs over 2 days. The MPs were from the AIDMK and TDP. The AIDMK MPs were protesting over the Kaveri water issue and TDP MPs over Andhra's special status. But as we've said, in the last 10 years, we've had the maximum number of suspensions, 123 and counting. Do you believe, Sanjay Hegde, suspensions now, which were the exception, have become the rule because this is the only way the chair believes you can send out a firm message?
Well, a lot depends on the personality of the chair. There have been chairs which have controlled business with humor, with tact, with understanding. There have also been governments and parliamentary affairs ministers who have reached across the aisle. Mm-hmm. You know, at the height of the Indochina War, we in Parliament discussed it. There was even an instance when Pandit Nehru said that, look, nothing grows in Aksai Chin, not even a blade of grass. There was Mahavir Tyagi who stood up, took off his cap, showed his bald head and said, nothing grows on top of this. Do you say it is useless? So we've had Parliament debating things with tact, with humor. Right now, it has become a shouting match, and presiding officers say all too often, go for the whip of suspension, and the House then goes into uproar. And it's very unsightly to see suspended members of Parliament standing outside Parliament and saying what they were prevented from saying within Parliament.
No, the only reason, but the fact, Sanjay, is that the existing rules seem to give a lot of discretion to the chair. Whether it is in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, it is up to the discretion of the chair to decide. So, are you saying the individual who sits there, whether it's Jagdeep Dhankar or whether it's Om Birla, they are the ones who now seem to have decided if an MP enters the well of the House, suspension, no warnings, suspend them?
Absolutely. That is what I'm saying. I said that the personality of the chair often determines the way proceedings are conducted. Mm-hmm. So you saw Meera Kumar in the old days keeping on saying "Baith jaiye," till it almost became a meme. But a lot of work still got done. Mm-hmm. Right now, it is okay. You cannot do anything without my permission, and I run a tight ship, and I will suspend you off with your head. To the extent that yesterday a member of Parliament got suspended. And he was not even in Parliament at that point of time.
Yeah, that was that will go down again as a precedent of sorts. An MP was suspended wrongly. He wasn't even present in the House. But the rules for the viewers, and then I'll get GVL and Mohan Kumar Mangalam once again. Rule 374 says the Speaker may, if he deems it necessary, name a member who disregards the authority of the chair or abuses the rules of the House by persistently and willfully obstructing the business. Later on, during the 13th Lok Sabha, a new rule was added, 374A, which said, in the event of grave disorder occasioned by a member coming into the well of the House or abusing the rules of the House, persistently, willfully obstructing its business by shouting slogans, such member on being named by the Speaker shall stand automatically suspended. You see, more Kumara Mangalam, we've had scenes in this Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha where MPs have been standing on chairs throwing paper. Surely such MPs will be suspended. You can't behave badly and then say, no, don't suspend me. That's unacceptable. Surely a line has to be drawn.
Rajdeep, I'm not disputing that. I think in between the carrot and the stick, as Mr. Sanjay Hegde said very eloquently, I think it depends on the speaker and how he manages the situation. He can very tactfully manage the situation, make sure the MPs who are protesting feel that their concerns are heard, and that the treasury benches don't sort of demonstrate a very unresponsive attitude. Those are the things that lead to this sort of confrontational. The less confrontational it would be, the better it would be, obviously. You know, Rajdeep, it's very interesting that in Mr. Modi's first government in Rajya Sabha, you didn't have any suspensions. That's because the ruling party had fewer seats in the upper house. It's really about the brute majority that they have in the Lok Sabha that makes them feel that they don't need to cajole anyone, they don't need to take anyone along. They can just say whatever they want, behave in any manner they want, and take whatever action they want.
So you're saying that this is an example of a brute majority expressing itself in the House. A quick response from you, GVL Narasimha Rao, to that. Yes, I think we all agree. If anyone sort of resorts to behavior that is unruly, some action will be taken. But it seems almost as if the speaker or the chair are itching to send out a message on each occasion. That's the sense. Imagine someone who was not even present in the House. His name was put. That may have been a mistake, but it shows this great urgency to somehow, jitna jyada MPs ko suspend karo, that's a good sign.
No, Rajdeep, I think that's a very unparliamentary word that you have used. I think we should be very careful.
Which was the unparliamentary word, Chief?
A speaker is itching to do something. I think, please, we should hold such officers in high esteem. You can obviously criticize, you can make observations, but not use such expressions. I take offense to it, number one. Number two, you see, for example, in Rajya Sabha, where I'm a member, Derek O'Brien, you know, how he was trying to gesticulate, almost menacingly going towards the Secretary General, or completely disregarding repeated appeals from the Honorable Chairman, even after his suspension has not happened by the chair. Suspension happened after a resolution is moved and it was carried by a voice vote in the House. These are not decisions made by the presiding officer all by himself. And these are decisions of the House. And how do you expect? How can you allow parliamentary democracy to be derailed because a vocal minority does not want any business to be transacted? A vocal minority wants to hold democracy to ransom.